left you alive, because that meant that others who weren't even paying the interest had to be killed first. And there were so many of them that the banks decided we better wait. So I didn't get into
So you were lucky in the end again.
I was lucky, yeah.
But did that teach you something about
Yes.
tourism as well? That, you know, it can change in a second. We've had attacks in the last couple of years as well, 3 years, in Northern Africa as well. Did that teach you a lesson that you would say never put your eggs in the same basket, for example, or try to be in countries which are maybe less dangerous? What did that teach you? The whole Luxor catastrophe?
Well, it taught me one lesson that actually keeps me alive today, because had I not learned from that lesson, when the big crisis hit the world, and it was a real estate crisis, as you know, 2008, and then, as if this was not enough, we got the Arab Spring 2 years later. So that was a double whammy. And if I had not been prepared for such a big crisis, I would have been wiped out. Basically, what Luxor taught me is that in this long-term business of mine, because it is very long-term, you need to calculate in your assumptions a major crisis at any point of time, and you need to be ready for it. So when I entered the crisis 2008, I had zero debt and even some money in the bank as a company. And I remember till now how all these analysts that I was talking to were making fun of us, how ultra-conservative we were, and you know, you're tying too much equity, and the return on the equity goes tremendously down, obviously, when you don't couple it with debt. And I told them, you know, I want to be around after the next crisis. And I've seen it before. You don't know what it's like to get into a big crisis like this, indebted. And sure enough, this is what saved us.
However, in hindsight, would you have, if you had known about that financial crisis, about that double whammy that you said, would you have started Andermatt?
If I was invited to do Andermatt during the crisis, I would have not had the guts to do it. So that's, again, luck, that I started before the crisis, and therefore it was too late to stop. And that saved the project, basically. And I can say with a good conscience that the project in Andermatt is now my biggest challenge in my career. And therefore I'm happy to have it, because I live from challenges, you know.
Is that challenge a little bit linked to the
challenge is over.
The challenge is over. But
nowadays, you know, this is a big problem, because for me,
you don't have any challenges anymore.
The real pleasure in business is always the challenging part, not the execution. I'm a very lazy person, and therefore to like wake up in the morning and go and read 200 Excel sheets and give 2,000 instructions and attend meetings just to execute. This is not my strength or my pleasure. My pleasure is when everything is not working, when I still need to get everybody on board, I still need to organize the strategy, I still need to dream up some ideas. All of that is the fascinating part of business for me.
Let's speak about a very different challenge and a very different idea you have. You said you wanted to do a concert when you're 65. That will be in 5 years. Tell us about that dream. What does that mean?
I'll tell you, this is a very funny story. It was actually during my last item on my bucket list. You know what a bucket list is?
Yes, but you always said you don't have any items on the bucket. It's empty.
I finished it, yes. Yeah. And then I said, but I cannot live without a new challenge. And I was looking for new subjects for the bucket list, and I couldn't find any. And it really took me down. Actually, I was quite like almost moving into depression for the lack of challenges. And then I went into the list of regrets. I thought maybe I'll find something that I can fix, which would fit into the bucket list. And obviously, most of the things you regret in life cannot be corrected. You know, like I did the stupid operation in my legs when I was young that didn't go well, and I'm still suffering from it. But you can't do anything about it. But this thing, I imagined, oh, this you can fix, because I've always loved classical music, even as a kid, and it stayed, but I never played an instrument. So I said, okay, now you start playing the piano, and to make it a real challenge, you have to give yourself a target, and what's a better target than playing in front of a whole orchestra in a public hall? So I said, I'll do that. And then I asked a very famous musician that I know, whether this is crazy or whether it can be done. And he just asked me quite straight to the point, are you willing to put 1 to 2 hours every day? And I said yes. And are you willing to put 4 to 6 hours every day, 6 months before the concert? And I said yes. And he said, then you can do it.
And you actually do it. So you practice every day for 1 or 2 hours?
Yes.
And how far away are you from that concert?
Far. I'm still far. I mean, I'm advancing, but the pace is obviously typical for somebody at my age who starts from scratch. It's not an easy ride.
And once you're 65 and once you do that concert, did you already decide where to do it? I mean, could that be in a private setting as well, or does it have to be the big concert hall in Lucerne, for example, or in Zurich?
Well, I mean, that would be the ultimate success. But let's put it this way: when I was speaking about it, the professional musicians said, no, it works the other way around. First, you start in front of friends, then you go to some local hall, so basically in El Gouna. And then if you're a little bit sure of yourself and you look like you know what you're doing, then you can try in Cairo. And if it's still well received, then you go to Andermatt. And then if somebody sees you and says, oh, we can have them, this guy play in Berlin or Lucerne, then you do it. But this is how it works.
So everything is possible. But it's a beautiful example of what seems to be one of your character traits. You need challenges and you need dreams. Would you say that you're? I mean, you said it yourself. You're easily bored. How difficult is it to live that way? That you still need challenges, even when you've been as successful as you are. Can you imagine never doing anything?
The challenge gives you pleasure in your routine. You know, like I love my routine and I love doing everything I'm doing, but I need a challenge to keep this spark in the rest of the activities. Like nothing in my life has changed because of this piano, except that I'm now enjoying everything else as much or even more, because now I know there is one serious challenge in life, you know.
When you're scared of routine, can you imagine yourself not doing anything? I mean, let's say you're 75 and just sitting by the fireplace, enjoy the success that you had, enjoy your money, enjoy your house or something, or do you still have to work when you're...
No, actually, I almost retired too soon. I did this last item, as I said, on the bucket list, which was a trip around the world on a boat. And this has been a dream since I was 15, but I never had the money to buy the big boat to go around the world. And when I had the money, I didn't have the time. When I had the time and the money, I didn't have the family to support this because they still were in schools and moving schools and exams. So finally, I got a year where I could take the kids out of school and bring some teachers, and we did this trip. So it took a long time. And during that trip, I had endless days where I didn't have much to do. And it was scary because I was getting so used to this routine of doing very, very little, and it didn't bother me at all.
You could get used to it.
Yes, scary, because if you get used to this routine, this is when the engine kind of shuts down. So if you want to continue to be alive and kicking, you need to stay busy. If you don't care, nature is very merciful. It makes people not feel that they're... Like we think that all people are bored, they are not. And I tried it myself. I actually had days where I did practically nothing. You know, like you wake up very slowly, you go down, have breakfast very slowly. It's almost 11 o'clock, you go and have a swim, you come back, it's already lunchtime. Then you make a siesta, you wake up, you go and get yourself a massage or go to the sauna or whatever. And that's the day, gone. And you haven't done anything, and you get used to it after a while and you enjoy it.
Final question. You talked about yourself when you were 15, you had that dream. When that 15-year-old Samih Sawiris would see the 60-year-old Samih Sawiris now, would he be happy? Would he be content what became of him?
Yes. I mean, I don't have regrets in terms of how I lived my life, for sure. I mean, I enjoyed every year of it and every activity and every encounter. Even the mistakes I did, they turned out to have taught me so much that I don't mind having gone through them. So no, I can claim with a good conscience that I had a fantastic life.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sawiris.
أوراسكوم للتنمية لما ابتدينا نطور الجونة لأنها تصبح مدينة ده جذب أنظار حكومات كتيرة جدا. حكومة سويسرا قالت لي تعالى عمل لنا تطوير لقرية أندرمات، لأنها محتاجة تتحول لمدينة صغيرة ومدينة سياحية، وهم عارفين طبعا الجونة وشافوها. ابتدينا بالتشادي. التشادي ده كان لازم يبقى أحسن فندق في سويسرا وإلا ما كناش هننجح، وفعلا خد جوائز يعني بتؤكد كده، وعملنا ميشلان ريستورانت بيجوا له الناس مخصوص من زيورخ، وهكذا لحد ما هي النهارده بقت منطقه يعني ناجحه جدا، واقتصاد المقاطعه كلها زاد حوالي 5%، ودي نسب عاليه جدا بالنسبه لسويسرا يعني. فاحنا فخورين جدا بالانجاز بتاعنا في سويسرا يعني. نفس اللي حصل معانا في سويسرا حصل في عمان برضو. احنا دعينا اننا نعمل مشروعين في عمان، منهم مثلا في صلالة مشروع النهارده اهل صلالة نفسهم كل يوم خميس وجمعه تلاقي نص البلد قاعده في المارينا، لان فيها مناطق تسوق ومطاعم ومناطق للعائلات وكده. فهو مهم جدا ان الواحد لما يعمل الموديل ده بتاع المدينه ان يكون المكان جاذب مش بس للسياح، ولكن جاذب للناس اهل المدينه والناس اللي عايزه تعيش هناك. نفس القصه كررناها تاني برضو في مونتينيجرو. يعني مونتينيجرو برضو خدنا منطقه ما كانش فيها حد خالص وطورناها، النهارده بقت مزار لاهل المدن اللي حوالين لوستيتشا، وبيجوا بالليل لان المارينا فيها حياه وفيها مطاعم وتسوق وكده. يعني في النهايه انا اقدر اقول ان اللي بيحاول يبني مدينه لو عنده الصبر ويعني القدره ان هو يستمر دايما بيوصل للي عايزه يعني.